Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hello everyone, and welcome to the ASOTV podcast for, what are we fucking talking about? Star Wars Rebels! Season 3, Episode 11. Visions and Voices. I'm your host, Cleo, and with me I have John, who is a ratcopter. And Sam.
I'm that. Ratcopter's my new gender identity.
I'm proud of you. Welcome!
Hi.
Jesus, this episode was great. It felt a little short, but I guess that was just because it was concise.
Yeah, I mean, it felt short. I think that's a good way to put it, is it got right to the point, and it just kind of hit home on every, I don't know. I was like, what with this episode? It was more than I expected, so.
Well, it didn't jump around, really. You know?
No.
That's probably why it went so fast, because we just basically had one story the whole time.
Yeah, we followed one path all the way to the end.
Which is good. It's a good way to have the mid-season finale.
Yeah. Definitely.
We start off in a very, very Harry Potter situation where Ezra's just getting these visions of Maul just being like all up in his ear, like, yo, hey, what's up?
What's up?
And he freaks out. He almost like really hurts a dude.
I know, some poor rebel schmuck. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell, man? You know?
What are you doing, kid?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Children shouldn't have the Force.
But yeah, so that's like a... Did they describe it as a Force vision? Because that was just what I was calling it in my head. I don't know if they...
I don't know that they described it like
It was
that.
small.
Because he was actually getting closer to him?
Yeah, so I watched, I don't know if you guys watch Rebels Recon about the episode, but they explained that Maul, because they joined the two Jedi holocron, the Jedi of the Sith holocrons in the beginning of the season, they actually were kind of linked, like, through the Force together. So the closer they got to each other, the more intense their visions of each other became. And by the time Ezra was having those visions, Maul was deliberately projecting himself into Ezra's mind because he knew how to manipulate it.
Yeah,
so he really was seeing those things.
It was very Voldemort then.
And that's it. I'm wondering what that's going to mean for the future. Like, I'm getting away from kind of the point of the show there, but like the idea of a Force bond, and if that's a possibility, and if they'll use that in the actual trilogy films as they go on. I think that'd be an interesting concept to explore. So yeah, there's that. But here, if they start testing the waters here in the show, then they can see if that'll work in a different picture with different characters, etc. So I just think that was an interesting concept to bring up.
Yeah. And I mean, this is clearly a forced bond. So
like literally,
it was created by the two artifacts, and their minds linking. So I'm wondering if then forced bonding can be a natural thing, something that just happens.
Well, I mean, John probably know better than I would, but I know force bond is a thing, like in the Knights of the Old Republic, that's a thing, and I don't know if they're going to ever implicate or like use that in canon, but it can be a thing between master and apprentice, and it's a possibility. I don't know if they'll ever use it or if they'll develop into something that's a little more relevant for going forward, how they want to use the concept of the Force going forwards, but it is a possibility, and it's been brought up before, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and that was something that I was so glad to hear Kanan finally say, because I don't think he's ever corrected or like shut Maul down when Maul said, "Yes, Ezra, you're my apprentice." This feels like the first, like finally he's like, "He's not your apprentice. Shut up."
Yeah, but he did it. I agree. He did it in a good way. I'm like, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I was like, thank you, Kanan, for doing that. But I wonder if he feels more threatened now than
No.
before?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because he trusted Ezra to do this.
That's very true. He also had a tracker on him. So.
No, but I think to the extent of which it felt like for me, it felt like a shift in the trust in the sense that he's going to trust Ezra in the fact that he feels like this is something he needs to do, but he's also going to know that as a master to his apprentice and to somebody who he cares about, he needs to make sure he's there for him if something were to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you juxtapose that with what happened at the very beginning of the season, where Ezra felt like he was abandoned by Kanan, here's the complete opposite, where yes, he's trusting him to go so far, but he will be there if he needs to catch him when he falls. And that's kind of how I looked at it. So it was a more kind of sophisticated way of him, like, trusting him, but, like, also keeping a close eye on him. So overall, I felt that shift, and I thought that he did it very well. So.
Mm-hmm. And he wasn't being overbearing either, because he let him do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good point.
He's learned.
Yes. So we had seen the Bendu for like 5 seconds. I was kind of disappointed he disappeared so fast, but
I thought he would, though. I was like, he's just going to stick around for a moment to give them some ominous warning.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think it's also that he's a neutral being, so I don't think he wants to take part in a struggle between the light and the dark.
Well, that's what I thought was interesting, is that he's neutral, essentially, as far as the Force is concerned, but as soon as Maul showed up, and he's definitely a representation of the dark side, he was gone. Nowhere to be seen, so that was interesting.
And I'm wondering if the reason he left wasn't because Maul showed up, but because Maul and Kanan and Ezra were there. So that is the light versus the dark. Yeah.
Yep, could have been. Absolutely.
Stay neutral, Switzerland. You got this. I would love to see more and more of the Bendu. That's just because I think the neutrality of the Force is very interesting to me. So.
Me too. Well, also, again, it goes back to what we were talking about with him being interesting as a character. He's a Force creature, or a creature of the Force.
Yes.
It's strong within him. We don't see that a lot. We see people who are of the ideology of the Force, Jedi, ex-Jedi, whatever, people who are in hiding, but we don't see creatures like him that are one with the Force. So I think that's very interesting. It's different. So I like seeing him, too, for that reason.
Yeah, I would like to see more creatures like that. Yeah, I don't know if you count the old ones from Clone Wars as they're not creatures. They were people.
They were like literal forces, like just like the not just them, but also like if you count like the son and the daughter at that other planet. Yeah, those two, they were like little pieces of the Force. That's how I think of them. They're not creatures, but yeah, they're different elements of the Force than we're used to like knowing. So
yeah. Sabine dropped the line like before the intense stuff started happening, where it was like, AP5 and Chopper must have been made on the same assembly line because they were both being sassy, and I was just like, that's amazing.
I was laughing. I was like, what? That made me laugh.
Yeah. I don't remember like what AP5. That was like it. That's all we saw of him as the beginning of the episode, right?
Yep.
No, that was it.
And he was grumbling like, "How can I possibly do my job when it's being changed the last minute?" Which made me laugh.
Yeah. Droids just keep getting funnier in these shows.
They do. Which, again, I know no spoilers, but K2SO, yeah. For Rogue One.
Somebody did a drawing of him, and it was like a caption, should I see Rogue One? And it was just the droid going, boy. I'm loving that meme. I don't know why. I just keep seeing it. It just gets funnier. Maul takes Ezra to Dathomir, which was, I didn't expect that to be where we were going.
I didn't think that's where he would take him either, but as soon as he was talking about the magic and the Night Sisters, I'm like, oh, Christ. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, but... yeah. I always thought the Night Sisters were super cool, by the way, but then I was like, ooh, so... And other towns and all that. I always thought that was a cool idea, so I was like, ooh, this is neat. So...
Oh yeah, and when when he took him into the temple and all that stuff, I was like, oh my god, we spent so much time there in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I remembered that building.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow. And he like made, he's clearly been living there. And he made like a weird little shrine to Satine, which I think was very weird.
God.
That was creepy, right?
That was really, really weird.
I was like, you asshole. You're drawing your power from the fact that you murdered her and like he had the dark side. Sorry. When I saw it, I was like, you jerk. I was like, wow, you're going to draw your power from something so dark and that's what you. Oh my God. But also, at the end of the day, he never really understood or could concept of like the power of the Night Sisters. That was a purely female thing and they had that power. The men were just kind of there to be there and they could do what they wanted with them and they could, magic them if they wanted to, which is essentially how he got back to health was through them, using the magic. So I'm sure he thought, okay, I'll do this. And no matter what, they were always a little bit more ahead of the game than him. They were more powerful. They were more in tune with certain things. So I was like, oh. But the fact that that was part of the shrine, I'm going, oh, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It almost looked like he, serial killer cut out, pieces of other things and made her face.
I know.
And her eyes were slashed out.
I was like...
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Her eyes were, slashed out, and it was, right at the point at which he had, impaled her, and I'm like, can we find out? It makes a little more sense given at the end what happens, the revelation of what we're going to do, and then I'm like, oh, that's why, but then again, I'm thinking... Oh, God. So, anyway, I was just like, what is going on here? Great. Oh, which, again, another thing I'm thinking about Rogue One, but I can't say it, which kills me. But anyway.
That's all right. Save it for when we do that podcast.
Okay.
We don't have a date for that yet, unfortunately, but if you follow us on Twitter, we will let you know. Speaking of Maul not ever really being able to understand the Night Sisters' powers, he doesn't. He needs them to do this ritual. Their spirits do it for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think
the only other person that he knew that had that kind of power that could manipulate things like that was Palpatine, and we only saw a hint of that in Clone Wars, which is interesting of itself. The way he was manipulating the dark side and almost getting to the point of magic rather than just the Force, but they literally did magic. And that was the only thing he could think to do that would probably work. And it made sense to me, but I was like, you really don't know what you're dealing with here, do you?
No, he doesn't. And they, Maul, conveniently forgets to say, oh yeah, now they need bodies. I promised them they can have a physical form.
I was like, oh,
you might want to run.
Might want to go.
Yeah, I want to leave now. A little faster. And we were talking, I think we were talking in the beginning of the season about the visions and that it was, they were seeing Luke on Tatooine. And they were really seeing Obi-Wan. I think both of them were really seeing Obi-Wan instead of Luke, which was an interesting thing to me.
I think there was a moment in which anytime they're bringing up Vader, there might be a hint of inkling of him getting an idea that his children could be floating out there perhaps, and that's when we might get an inkling that's Luke. But yes, that surprised me. It's because we know that's what Maul has been after all this time, essentially, and especially with that shrine with Satine, and that was something very deliberate to hurt Obi-Wan, etc. Mm-hmm. So that didn't surprise me that that's what he was seeking and he got, but when Ezra was like, I need a way to defeat the Sith, and that's what it was, I was like, bust! We had this and we were all looking for Obi-Wan. Oh my God, what are we going to do? So I was like, ugh. So yeah.
Which, I mean, does that mean we can touch Obi-Wan before A New Hope?
Freaking love
that.
Are
they going there?
I think we're going to, for sure, at this point.
Yeah.
Which also, that just made me start to think, I was like, are they really thinking, I really hope they are, that they need to do an Obi-Wan movie? Because they should. They need to do one.
They really just said that they don't want to now.
I know, which is dumb. It's just like don't be that way. Come on.
I mean, listen. I think it's fine that they don't want to do that. I think them bringing him into stuff in other ways is fine enough.
Yes, I think that's I would be okay with that too, but they need to include him in some kind of way. I think so.
Yeah, and I honestly, I definitely think they're looking towards putting him in the show.
I think they will too. I'm like, it's looking pretty good for that. So
probably not till the finale, but
no, exactly. Yeah, you gotta wait for that.
Oh yeah,
because they don't know where he is yet. I mean, but it sounds like I was gonna say it sounds like Maul does, right?
Maul knows.
No, well, he said the same thing that Ezra did. Ezra said it to Sabine and Kanan, and then they're like, oh, well, that narrows it down. He said the same thing. I'm going to guess that it's kind of going to wind up being a race at the end, like a race to see who finds him first kind of deal. So I think that's going to happen. P.S. I've always kept wondering the way that they've kept this going in the Clone Wars and Rebels and the fact that Maul is still alive. And to our knowledge, as far as what we know of, like, what happens, Obi-Wan lives, Maul's not around. So they got to explain where he goes, if he just disappears, or if he is eventually killed somehow. So I think that'll be interesting too.
Yes, this is true.
Like, they have very unfinished business, and we know that, but what happens there, we don't know. But we don't know of Maul otherwise, so...
I like John's theory. It's going to end with Obi-Wan cutting Maul in half the other way.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Vertically.
Yes!
And he's going to be like, get back up from that.
Yeah, try to put yourself back together now.
Obi-Wan, can I just say that Obi-Wan is all about, I've said it before, he's all about cutting off the limbs or cutting in half or cutting things. He's all for it. He's just like lopping off arms and legs, and he's fine.
Like,
he doesn't
why
care.
disarm folks if you could just literally disarm them?
Yeah, literally. That is what he does. He's just like,
literally.
Literally, he's just like, like in the bar in Attack of the Clones or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what's her face? The bounty hunter. I forgot her name. Literally, like you said, John, disarms her.
I could remove your weapon, or I could remove the thing that holds the weapon.
That holds it, too.
Yeah.
That's a more permanent solution.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... well, the only reason I thought that Maul might know is because he did say, like, it's going to end, where it all began. And I wasn't sure, like, if he meant where is it, like, on Tatooine, or where is it, like, him with Obi-Wan in, like, a more, like, I don't know, out there sense. I'm not sure, because that is what he said, and I thought that meant, like, I'm going to Tatooine, bye! And then Kanan and Ezra were just going to be like,
It did sound like he knew more. It did sound like he sounded more sure of what planet they were talking about. But something tells me, given the fact that they didn't know, I think it's going to be kind of a race to the end. The way they're setting it up, maybe not, but I feel like it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But he did sound, the way he said it. You're right, in his tone, it sounded more sure. It did.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, it's Maul. He also didn't realize, like, how pissed his ghost
figured it out.
Yeah. Gee, maybe my ghost, lady friends will be really angry when I kind of lie to them and run away.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be mad.
Bite a butt for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, Kanan and Sabine run in to try to help Ezra and end up getting possessed themselves by the Night Sisters.
They pulled an Ezra. I want to help. You made it worse. Yay!
Yeah, and Ezra actually uses his head this time.
Yeah.
Boy's growing up.
Yeah. That fight with him and Sabine was pretty cool.
Yeah. I was sitting there going, I was like you said, I was like, oh my God, the kid's getting smart now. He's figuring it out. Mm-hmm. But that was a good fight, too. That was a good fight also right away with, like, Maul and Kanan. I'm going, oh my God, blah! So...
Yeah, it's like I want you to beat the Night Sisters. Please don't hurt Kanan.
Please don't hurt, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. He's kicking your ass. He's possessed. Ah.
Yeah. Small just dips, and Ezra's like, I gotta go back and save them, obviously, because he wasn't gonna leave them.
I know. Again, I'm proud of him for coming up with what he came up with in order to do so, though. It's a good idea. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
And, man, the Night Sisters possessing Kanan and that whole him sitting on the altar with all of them, the ghosts, it was really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was genuinely creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a lot of power there.
Because they were basically wraiths. I mean, if you're going by, like, D&D lore, they're supposed to be creepy.
Yeah.
This ain't your Force ghosts. I mean, this is, like,
Witch
an
ghost.
evil specter.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, we ain't messing with, we're messing with some dark magic. So, I'm kind of glad they went that route to make them actually, like, scary looking. And, you know, it just makes me sad that they're just actually all dead.
Me too.
You know?
They're cool.
Yeah. And that's not something we have an answer to why they're all dead, right?
Oh, Palpatine killed them all.
Yeah,
he came in.
Palpatine had them all killed.
Oh, okay.
They fought pretty bravely, but yeah, they were just no match for the rest of the, like, clone army, wherever the hell. And I was like, this sucks. They're cool, and they're powerful, and they're warrior ladies. I like it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they were always had that, like, weird, creepy, witchy vibe.
They did. But I liked Mother Townsend, too, because she would always kind of manipulate the situation for whatever the best outcome was for her. But she could be civil. She could sit there and talk to somebody. Hey, listen, Obi-Wan talked to her for a couple of minutes. Like, listen, I know how you work, blah, 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 kind of thing. So, you know, I always thought she was cool, too.
Yeah, and that was something I admired about her, was that she could talk her way out of something. She didn't need her magic.
Right. She'd be diplomatic in a situation that called for it, so.
Yeah. So, and Sabine at the end takes the Darksaber with her.
I was going, okay, yep. I was like, oh god, that's gonna, yep, okay.
It could either be really, really good or really, really bad.
Really bad. That's what I was thinking too. Oh
no. But she could use it to unite the Mandalorians.
She could. You know what? It doesn't belong to them so much, but it signifies something in that sense of, like, them having taken it from the Jedi Temple all those years ago. Yeah. So, and then, you know, her reclaiming it. I mean, Maul used it, though, to murder Satine, and that's significant as well as Vizsla. That's also significant. So it's like, this thing murdered two significant Mandalorian people. So, yeah.
I was going to say, like, I feel like that would make it more powerful, the fact that she has it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, even if, like, she just goes to Fenn Rau and is like, hey, man, I got this. I have the Darksaber. Can we use this in some way? Because I feel like maybe not just her, but, like, because she's been out of, well, quote-unquote, out of the Mandalorian biz for a little bit. But Fenn Rau probably is more familiar with how the different, are they called tribes, groups? I don't know. What are they called? Different clans. Thank you.
Clans, right?
They call them clans and houses, I think.
Okay.
Right. So, but I feel like he's more familiar with how they're all operating right now. So maybe they can work together and use the Darksaber. Like, look, we have this. Like, we can, you know, we took this from Maul, who embarrassed us basically. Like, can we unite now under one banner and fight the Imperials, who are basically using us like attack dogs?
Yeah.
You know, it's not dignified. It's not the Mandalorian way. They're just desperate for survival.
Mm-hmm. And I think no matter which way you look at it, the Darksaber has shown or been a shift in power for the Mandalorians. So more than once, it has been wielded by someone who has taken control over their people.
At least a couple of times in a row, actually.
Yeah. So
whoever hold of that thing is making a very, very big point at the moment. So, and it's usually a battle to the death of the person who gets it and then wields it and then is in power. So that's also an interesting idea to think about. Also, Sabine, again, is of the House Vizsla specifically, too. So it's an interesting thing to remember.
Yes. Yeah. So before we move on to future stuff, is there anything else you guys have to say about this episode?
I was gonna say, I think we covered most of the major things that I was thinking about, other than the fact that, again, the pacing was really good. It moved fast, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I was like, oh, I know why I enjoyed it so much now. It's a mid-season finale. That makes sense.
Exactly.
I think there was something I wanted to say. Nope, it's gone. Oh, right, there it is. I want Maul's ship, the ship that Darth Maul, he's not Darth Maul anymore, I keep calling him that, but
Just
that Maul uses. I want that ship in X-Wing, and that's it.
What ship is it? You know what it is?
It is a Mandalorian transport ship. I don't know what it is.
Cool.
Off the top of my head, but it's really cool, and it's like a large version of the Fang fighter that like Fen Rao uses.
Yeah. Oh.
And
neat.
Johnny Monty.
Cool.
And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Sweet. So our Rogue One tie-in is a man named Saw Gerrera.
Yes.
And he was in Clone Wars. And I wrote down all the episodes so I can go back and rewatch them. And he will be joining us for the second half of... I don't know. I think this is just in one episode. But it's going to be the next half of the season.
We don't
really know, right?
Yeah. They didn't make it abundantly clear that he could be in multiple episodes, but and if you guys don't know what we're talking about, on the Rebels Facebook page, they did post like a short, and it's on their YouTube channel. They posted a short little video of like where the next half of the season's going, and we're basically catching Saw in between. All right, I won't say it. Right before the movie. How about that?
Yes.
It's because right now Rebels is still a few years before Rogue One.
Yes.
So we get to see Saw before Rogue One, and maybe. I mean, I'm kind of happy about it, and without giving anything away, I just want to know like how he got from point A to point C. I guess by the time the movie is.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He's hit a bunch of points between now and then.
I mean, I could.
We'll put like L, I guess.
I think we can figure it out based on what happened to him in Clone Wars. Like, just that was very traumatic if you think about it. But yeah, I'd like to see that too. So.
Yeah.
So, and it's cool because like he's gonna meet 2 Jedi, and that's rad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be voiced by Forrest Whitaker, which is awesome. And it brings up the question: if we get Obi-Wan in this season, will he be voiced by the actor who did him in the Clone Wars, or will he be voiced by Ewan McGregor?
Oh, it'll probably be James Arnold Taylor.
Yeah.
I feel very confident in that. He did it for the Clone Wars. And I only say that because, I mean, it could be Ewan McGregor. That would be wonderful. I wouldn't, of course, I'm just saying that because the whole thing with The Force Awakens, when you have Obi-Wan's voice going, these are your first steps, that was originally James Arnold Taylor, and they ran with that idea. And J.J. Abrams liked it so much that then he asked Ewan McGregor to come in and do it. But otherwise, initially, that was James Arnold Taylor doing that.
Oh,
and I feel like
that I didn't know.
A little bit easier. So, yes, they liked the idea so much that they had Ewan McGregor actually come in and do it. But otherwise, that wasn't originally him having done that. But they liked the idea once they ran with it. Yeah. So I feel like it will be James Arnold Taylor, who does a spot-on impression of him anyway.
He really
He's
does.
So good. He's fantastic.
I loved him in Clone Wars.
He's so fantastic. Good. He's so good.
Yeah. This is definitely years before Rogue One, because what I noticed from the promo was that Saw Gerrera sounded much healthier In the
Right.
in the movie, he does not sound great. He's very wet, raspy, and wheezing. So it makes sense that this is a year or two, or however long it is beforehand.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just so excited. And we're getting episodes again really soon. January 7th is the next is when we're coming back.
That's not even that. That's not that far away.
It's a short
That's
break.
Pretty good. It's like a 3-week span. That's pretty good.
A+.
Oh, I'm so ready.
So ready.
Well, I feel like they want to just keep up with the hype train from Rogue One, you know?
Yeah. Why not?
Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. So I'll take it. I mean, maybe this will bring new viewers to the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't want to know like what's Forrest Whitaker up to as a cartoon man.
Yeah. I think a shorter break is a good thing. Because I feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season fell short because their break between when Doctor Strange came out was a little too long. You know, I came back to S.H.I.E.L.D. and I was like, wait, what's happening again?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad this break is short.
Yeah, you don't want to lose
that. Yeah, we're already in Star Wars mode.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everybody would be, but again, you don't want to lose that momentum if you've got it, so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You guys have anything else to say?
I think so.
I hope Maul dies.
Yes. Eventually, I'm sure he will.
I think he will too. I'm just wondering the how.
He's gonna show up in episode 8. Like, what's up?
Surprise!
Secrets! I'm Snoke. Fuck you.
Exactly. He just cut the other half or he's Snoke. It's one of those for sure.
Yes.
I still. Ezra's gonna be Snoke. I'm sorry.
I still like somebody's crazy theory that the Inquisitor.
I know. Oh,
I love that theory. The Inquisitor is Snoke. I'm down. I like it. Anyway.
No. It's Maul. He's just like, what's up? I'm so tall. How are you?
I'm so tall. Look at these extra long legs I had made for myself.
I know, right? Rather than the spider half of me, this is way cooler.
Yeah. So, John, where can people find you being a Ratcopter?
You find me being a Ratcopter. I'm probably playing with my new X-Wing toys very soon at No More on Twitter.
Sam, where can they find you?
Like Leia on Twitter and Instagram.
Which you can't see her lower thirds because I messed up. Yay, there it is.
Professionalism!
I did it. You can find me at Cleomoto, doing all sorts of weird stuff on the internet. And you can find all of us doing more weird stuff at ASOTV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows, video games, and movies. Subscribe to find out when we're doing Rogue One, because we don't even know. It's a mystery to everyone.
It's a mystery.
Bye-bye.
It's a secret to everyone.
It's a secret. Don't tell anyone. Well, we do want you to tell people. We want you to watch the show. So maybe tell people.
Here's what I will tell you. Start blowing holes in the sides of caves in every video game that you have, and maybe that's where the Rogue One podcast is.
Maybe. I think so.
Maybe.